Now, the news now, some shops are overpricing potatoes, while consumers are, of course, struggling to make ends meet. That's the view of Potato South Africa after they found a store pricing potatoes out of the recommended bracket. And now they're embarking on a consumer awareness campaign of sorts, encouraging customers to shop around for appropriately priced potatoes. Let's discuss more about the issues facing this important industry with the CEO of Potato South Africa, Willie Jacobs, who joins us virtually from Pretoria. Willie, thank you so much for your time this evening. I came across a social media post from your team with a picture of this stack of 10-kilogram bags of potatoes, as you see in many retailers across the country, with potatoes, a bag of 10 kg potatoes, 89 Rand 99. And that kind of got your team going, didn't it? Because then you posted about it, saying hashtag consumer awareness. With the current situation on markets, farmer prices hover around 34 Rand per 10 kg bag. And while our consumers are struggling to make ends meet, we unfortunately still find products priced at certain outlets as attached by this pic. Tell us how you feel when you see that, because that, if we see more and more of that, it really is going to hurt your industry, isn't it?
Yes, I think, from the first point of view, it's frustrating. It's not good to know that our farmers were forced this week to take some of their products back off the markets because they couldn't get it sold. And then you see these type of prices in the supermarkets. I mean, you think for yourself, a farmer getting 2.70 Rand per kilogram at the local Joburg market this week. Seeing a price like this at the supermarket, it can be infuriating. And consumers should know what the current price is that the farmers fetch. And the reality is we need to have both conversations. I don't know whether the supermarkets are currently aware of the full situation that's happening on the markets. And this is the reason why we've got this conversation as well today.
It does really seem that there's a need for education on various fronts. Perhaps let's start here. If you could, in a short space, explain to us how it works in terms of this pricing. Who sells what to who, at what price, and who decides on that price? And like you just mentioned, if bags of potatoes, for instance, in your industry are not sold, I'm going to admit I did not know that those potatoes are then returned and the cost is carried by the farmer at the start of that food chain.
Yes, I think, the circumstances that we have now at the moment is extreme. We have had warnings a few weeks ago about the effect of the load shedding, and this is the result of what you can see what's happening. Farmers had to get the product out of the ground, get it into the pockets and get it onto the market as soon as possible. With the heat wave that's coming along and the same intensity, the reality is that there's a massive oversupply of product now, and it's forced by the current situations that we have. Now, when a product lies on the Johannesburg fresh produce market or any other fresh produce market in South Africa, for longer than 3 or 4 days in this temperature, you can expect it, the quality will go down. And the last things our farmers want is to be blamed for poor quality product.
And who then decides? And who then decides on those prices? Sorry, Willie, I'm so sorry to have interrupted you. Please go ahead.
Not a problem. Bringing you back to the question that you had in terms of the price formation, our fresh produce markets and municipal markets are currently the reference pricing for potatoes, and that is, let's call it a type of midpoint market. If you found potatoes on the Johannesburg market selling at the price that they're currently going between 27 and 35 Rand a 10 kilogram pocket, your expectation would be that it should not be more than double that at the supermarket, given all the logistics as well. So typically, seeing a price, and this is now a thumbs up, but seeing a price above 50 Rand a kilo for a 10 kilogram pocket is really outrageous.
And have you taken this up with retailers?
Yes, look, I mean, the thing is there are certain retailers that, and then obviously it's not a cross-cutting exercise. This is an extreme situation that we have picked up, but there are more extremities that's coming through as well. We've got a very good working relationship with the retailers, but I think from Potato South Africa, the industry body side, we are moving closer to them to also provide them with similar information. They need to understand the production cycles on the farms, and the consumer needs to understand when there's product available. You know, we're all battling with inflation. If we just buy the potatoes that's currently on the market and it gets sold, it's going to have an impact for all consumers at the moment.
Do you have another route if you don't see retailers coming to the party? Do you have another route to address this issue? I'm assuming this isn't something that goes to an organization like the Competitions Commission. That was to do with price fixing of bread and those kinds of issues. This is a little bit different. What other routes do you have to try and fix this issue?
Look, there are legal issues that we can actually take to the Competition Commission if we need to get to that point. I would really want to believe that this is not a case of, deliberate exercising of this type of pricing. For me, the first thing that we would want to do is to get all the supermarkets and all the chain stores that's currently selling to the consumers to understand the circumstances and just to be able to, compare what's happening in that space. We've seen so many times that supermarkets are not aware of what's happening on the farms. They are promoting potatoes, for instance, in certain spaces where there are no potatoes available. So we'd rather want to go that route to get, a better price discovery than to, specifically address supermarkets. But having said that, we've got farmers all over South Africa. We've got farmers walking into each of the supermarkets anywhere. I get pictures on a daily basis of a number of supermarkets that you can see that these type of prices are not doing well. We directly confront them. We ask them to explain to us what's happening in terms of the pricing. Some of them have got legitimate reasons, but at the moment, they're just too far out of the ballpark.
And you're right in that that initial post speaking about how you're very, very aware of how consumers really are struggling to put food on the table. And potatoes really is an important staple that can really help families through very, very difficult times. And then at the same time, we also know that about the ongoing struggles of our farmers. I mean, we keep hearing from government how important the agricultural industry is, especially if you talk about food security. But at some point, something's got to give, because our farming industry, especially our potato farmers across 16 regions in South Africa, they can't carry this responsibility on their own, can they?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the potato producers is currently on the market. That's got a production input cost of R5.50 per kilogram. Now, so they actually, if you're looking at what's happening at the market, they are buying the sales of the potatoes, if you want to call it that way, actually giving away the product below their cost line.
Sure.
We need to be able to address that. We need to be able to get that through to the consumers. And there is an opportunity now, and it's a small window of opportunity, because what's happened is, because of the delivery increasing now, we're going to find a little bit of a shortage going towards the later part of maybe November and that era, because that potatoes was intended for that market. So if we don't make use of this opportunity, we're just going to get potatoes that goes to waste. If a farmer takes the potatoes back onto his farm, it gets rotten there. He has to get rid of it. It's not where we need to be.
And when we keep hearing stories about people starving, I hate to be dramatic about it. I mean, hearing that food is being taken back to farms and it's just rotting, it's just criminal, isn't it? Willie, just before I let you go, if people want to get in touch with you, if they now go out there and they're going to go do their weekly shopping and they notice a price now that they're a little bit more educated after listening to you this evening, who can they contact if they want to let you know that they think that there's a retailer that's taking advantage of the price of potatoes?
Well, sorry, I'm looking to the left. I'm actually prepared to give you my cell phone number for that. But if you just look at our Twitter handle, potatoes_ZA, we've got the conversation running there. We've got a similar conversation on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Please get hold of us, our website, anywhere you want to. The potatoes, www.potatoes.co.za, our website, my contact there. And obviously, we've got a head office, the Potato House in Pretoria. Our number is in the phone book. Please contact us, make contact with me, send me pictures, please. Let us get this message across. I really appreciate that. Absolutely,
and it doesn't sound difficult to get hold of you at all. Potatoes South Africa, potatoes.co.za, and indeed Potatoes House as well. Willie Jacobs, the CEO of Potatoes South Africa, thank you so much for your time this evening, and everything of the best to you and your team.